Nice to see you.
Okay, can everybody hear me in the back? It's a small room. So. Okay, I want to welcome everyone. Warm good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this important policy dialogue. This policy dialogue, organized by Dr. Iqbal Anwar and his colleagues at the Center for Reproductive Health, is one of several activities that's been being undertaken by a WHO Alliance for Health Systems and MRC-funded protocol. That study is entitled Enhancing Capacity to Apply Research Evidence in Policymaking for Reproductive Health in Bangladesh, of which Dr. Iqbal is the PI, and many of his colleagues are around the table. I just want to mention briefly some of the other activities that have gone on and taken place under this protocol, and this is so that this dialogue really fits nicely into a whole stream of activities that have been going on. These include a national workshop with policymakers, a baseline study to benchmark the extent of policymaker evidence use and needs assessment in terms of evidence use and research, a training of trainers, a training manual that was developed to train policymakers in evidence use, 2 very successful meetings of a technical advisory group, batches of executive trainings, and I think one of the real highlights, and I think one that everybody is really excited and proud of, is the establishment of a research policy communication cell within the policy and research unit of the DGHS. And that includes having a web page launched within the website of the DGHS. So it's an incredibly exciting set of activities, and one that I'm very honored and proud to be a part of, and I want to take this particular chance and opportunity to say a very special thank you to Dr. Saeed Abu Jafar Musa, Director, Primary Healthcare and Line Director, MNCAH, DGHS. He has been consistently supportive with his time and effort, and has always been available, and has really made this collaboration happen. And we are also extremely lucky because he will be moderating this policy dialogue today, and I want to thank him in advance for his support. You have the program in front of you. As you can see, we have a big program. We have a short amount of time, but after a comprehensive overview on the maternal health policy situation, there will be open discussion and hopefully some recommendations that come out. That discussion will be moderated by Dr. Musa. I just want to stress that the intention here is that this is open discussion, this is informal, this is a chance to really have a true dialogue. I think there are many critical policy issues on everybody's minds when it comes to thinking about the maternal health strategy. I know for some it's the questions around community SBAs versus community midwives. Some may be the role of the private sector and its current and future use, but there are many, many others that I think may or may not come up in this discussion. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Dr. Musa, and thank you again for being here, and I know it will be an excellent discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, for excellent introduction and as well as the preamble, stating the objectives of this policy dialogue. So, respected and distinguished participant, I would like to invite you for self-introduction. Now I am requesting Dr. Iqbal from the ICPIB to present the situation, especially the maternal health in Bangladesh. So I'd like to say a few words about Dr. Iqbal. Research evidence and policy making for reproductive health in Bangladesh. This is a very new initiative which has been taken by the ICDRB in collaboration with the planning unit of the PKHS. I think, I'm sure about that, it will act as a major breakthrough for the improvement of the reproductive health in Bangladesh. Because in convention in the government system, we are not used to conduct the policy dialogue especially. But if you continue in this way, I'm sure about that will provide a lot of input, because we have worked to update our maternal health strategy, which is being formulated in 2001, and we'll be working. And today's policy dialogue, I'm sure about that will provide a lot of inputs, and that will also help us. Will be helpful for us to improve our maternal health strategy 2001 during our update. So now I'm requesting Dr. Iqbal to present his presentation. Thank you.
The title of my presentation is Maternal Health Care Situation in Bangladesh. Dr. Nazrul Islam is with me in this presentation. He will be helping if I am involved. So, in my presentation, I will try to cover the history and evolution of maternal health within the context of health systems in Bangladesh, and also I will describe the health policy formulation in this country, particularly the analysis of last plan, that is HPN SDP 2011 to 2016. Also, I will describe the current interventions by the government as well as by different bilateral projects and NGOs. Then I will describe the indicator status of maternal health, and lastly I will highlight some of the discussion points for today's policy dialogue. Here you can see this is a year calendar. You can see in 1946 the board committee was formed. The board committee principle was to design a service delivery strategy for health systems, for health of the population at the time. In 60s, there was a major breakthrough in this country. During that time, the malaria eradication program was started. Simultaneously, rural health complex initiative was undertaken, and family planning, it evolved as a vertical program within the Ministry of the then Health Ministry. And then in 1973, during liberation, there are 4 vertical programs. There was district health system, there was government health system, there was malaria eradication program, there was family program, family planning program. During 1973, the district health system was integrated, and this district health system was merged with the government health system. In Bangladesh, the health policies are formulated as five-year country development plans. During 1976, the National Family Planning Policy was formulated, and at that time, the malaria eradication program was merged with the government health system. In 1978, Alma-Ata Declaration was declared, and then in 1979, an important event took place in this country. MR was adopted as a policy under EPI. In 1980, MCS-based family planning was started. 85, intensification of EPI. You see many activities in 2011. Important among them is in 2001, a maternal health strategy was formulated. Also, in 2009, a neonatal health strategy has been formulated. Health policies, as I mentioned, health policies are formulated as part of broader 5-year development plan. The first 5-year plan, it was originally for 1973 to 78, but extended to 1980. The first plan, it emphasized the expansion of services. By the end of first plan, about 356 Thana health complexes was established. In the field of maternal health, the main activity was TPA training and ANC screening for high-risk pregnancies. During second and third 5-year plan, the main emphasis was human resource development. During this period, the FWBDI and nursing institutes are developed, and very successful child health programs. Some programs are implemented. Important among them is EPI, CDD, ARI, etc. Then during fourth 5-year plan, the maternal health was pointed as an important area during Upper Safe Motherhood Initiative from Nairobi in 1987. During fourth plan, 4 important projects are implemented in this country. Important among them is the EOC project financed by UNICEF, UNFPA funded another project, that is the MCS strengthening project. There was another WHO funded neonatal healthcare project. and also EU funded functional improvement pilot project. The EU project, the primary focus was not maternal health, but it was an important component in that project. During this period, the strategy was formulated. In 1994, it was declared that for Bangladesh, for reducing maternal mortality, the strategy will be the emergency obstetric care strategy. At that time, the plan was taken to upgrade the peripheral level public facilities to provide basic and comprehensive POC facilities. This emergency program get impetus during the next program when HPSP was formulated. HPSP was a major reform agenda in this country. In HPSP, major activities are undertaken such as sectoral management approach, one-stop service delivery, and unification of health and family planning services. Along with this, many other, very lucrative terms are used like public-private partnership, local level planning, community and stakeholders involvement, mainstreaming gender, autonomy in hospital management, women-friendly hospital, and client-centered and pro-code strategy. But all these, and during this period, the ESP was defined in line with the World Development Report 1993. ESP had 5 components. The first component was reproductive health. And within reproductive health, the first component was maternal health. During this HPSP also, a program was undertaken to strengthen the emergency obstetric care strategy. At the time, a target was set to upgrade all district hospitals, all 14 medical college hospitals, 64 out of 90 at that time 90 MCWCs, and 132 Thana health complexes to provide comprehensive emergency obstetric care. During this time, UNICEF and AMPD joined to support this program, and the main intervention was upgrading facilities, human resource development, logistics, and improvement of MIS and quality of care. After implementation of this program, the district hospitals, MCWCs, and medical college hospitals, they are mostly functional. But the problem was with the Thana health complex. Out of 132, about 1/3 of the targeted PSCs, they could not function as comprehensive POC facilities, mostly due to human resource constraints. But there are some examples, good examples, that is champions such as Chowgacha, another one is Choti. These upazilas, also it is important to mention that some of the upazilas, although not targeted, but they have started providing comprehensive POC services such as Dohar, then Keraniganj, and Shabha, Hamrai, Baitasar, Dumuria, yes. During HPSP also a national health policy was formulated, and as I mentioned, the maternal health strategy was formulated in 2001. But in 2001, when a new government came, then some of the very important strategic decisions were abandoned, such as unification of health and family planning. And then the one-stop service delivery, that is the community clinic, it was abandoned, and the family planning services, they followed again the home-based domiciliary care services. But the swap approach, it was retained, it was followed in the next program. This is about the next program. This is the HNPSP 2003 to 2010. During that period, there was nothing new from HPSP other than this breakdown of unification and one-stop service delivery. But 3 important events, activities are undertaken. One is the CSBA training. I will discuss about this program. And the second one is the maternal health BSF voucher program, and upgrading of 1500 FWCs as basic emergency obstetric care. It is important to mention that during that period, several bilateral donor projects started in MNS area. I should say this is a violation of sectoral management approach. This is CSBA intervention. Under this activity, the government HS and MWS, they are trained for 6 months to provide home-based maternal and neonatal health care services. Under this program, about 61 districts have been covered, and till last month, about 6,500 CSPs have been produced. In addition to government CSPs, during that period, some of the projects they started producing some of the private CSPs. But private CSPs is not new. Private CSPs were there in this country during late 80s. DADS piloted a program in Kanpur for in the name of Pondri Nurse. We evaluated this program. And similar program, it expanded throughout the country except these 3 districts, Bola, Chalokati, Nodulbai, correct me, and probably Sonamganj. Then this is the maternal health voucher program to address inequity and to stimulate utilization. You know, voucher program was started in 2000. Till now, about 63 Gujarat are covered. And these under these voucher programs, all care, ANC, PNC, delivery and competition of neonatal and maternal complications are covered. Several evaluations were undertaken, and there are criticisms that this is a demand-side voucher program, but it failed to create any competition because government is the sole provider in these areas. Also, there is complaint that quality is compromised in some of the cases due to excessive patient load. Also, there is leakage of the rule is that up to second parity they are entitled to get this facility, but in reality there is leakage. Some high parity mother they have entered, and also there is delay and irregularity in fund management. I have visited on Gujarat, Shahjatpur, and there is gross and there was investigation that there is mismanagement of funds. Also, there are complaints that sometimes due to financial incentives, the non-voucher mothers they are ignored. The service providers they pay more attention to the voucher holders. And this is about the new program. In this program, many things I have gone through the PIP and office, and the line director is here. Many activities have been outlined. I can mention some of them. One is the National Standing Technical Committee on NSCS. 2 of these, one by the line director MLCAs of DGHS and another by the director MCAs of DGHS. And MLCAs of DGHS it has 4 components: maternal and neonatal health, EPI, IMCA, and hospital experience. Important to mention that during this period there has been a policy shift from skill attendance to health facility delivery. In this country there was no midwife. A new midwifery cadre has been initiated, and it has been mentioned in this policy document. There are 2 types of midwives. One will be 6 months trained, those who are existing nurses or midwives, and there will be new 3 years courses for on midwifery, and it has been started. Also, many things have been detailed, like 24/7 services, DSF expansion on the basis of evaluation, targeting high MMR areas, social populars, new post for midwives, Indian medical officers, and CACPs as CCs. I think I missed. Then, sportship and governance, it has been mentioned that quality assurance team will be formed to improve quality, particularly total quality management. Also, accountability has been mentioned that it will be ensured, and supervision and monitoring. Every time these things are mentioned, but important is revitalization of community. For 10 years it was stopped, it has been revitalized. And also they spoke about ANC corners and ANC elevation for facility delivery and management of obstetric complications. PNC visit within 48 hours, strengthening sick newborn care. This is something new. Sick newborn care, it was not there in SPSP or SNPSP. What is new here is the PCSPA. It has been mentioned that in addition to the government CSPAs, some private CSPAs will be produced to enhance services at the community level. Mesopostal distribution by trained health workers. It will be initiated, and its standardization of training curricula of health professionals, strengthening blood transfusion services, construction of few facilities, one MCS hospital, 2 MCS offices, and 71 MCS offices. So I like to say that important among them is this PCS based community clinic, and what? I do not see this, or what that have been written in this policy document. It was already there in the previous policy documents. Now, also some of the activities have been mentioned in this PIT is the development of standardized operating procedure for this, innovative mechanism for protection of staff, implement midwifery certification, improve research curricula, and improve and expand management of program. Here I like to say about the bilateral projects and NGO programs for maternal health. During the SP, HLP, a number of bilateral projects initiated in this area. Important among them is the Bangladesh Joint Maternal and Neonatal Initiative. Initially it was started in 4 districts, now it's 107 districts. Then MNC's project, this is a collaboration between UNICEF and government. Then Gandhi HSS program, Safe Maternal Promotion project in 2 districts, Mamoni in 2 districts, MNCs in 38 Gujarat in low performance districts, and Manushik project in 6 city corporation areas. This is about MNHI project. You know, MNHI has intensive activity in these study districts. They have both facility and community based interventions. I have mentioned them, but to me most important is the number 2. Number 2 is the notification and review of maternal and perinatal dates and follow-up actions. This is not being addressed by other projects. This is unique for MNHI. Also, there are many other activities, you know, in the field of maternal and perinatal health. This is the MNCH project. Here the partners are government, RAP, and UNICEF. Key interventions are paid for performance, local level planning, that is hiring staff, logistics, supplies, minor innovation, and strengthening community support system and referrals. This is SMPP project. This is a collaboration between JICA and government, and it was implemented in the first phase in the Nashindi district. Now in the second phase, it has been expanded to Chogasa and of Joshua and Shapila district. And here in this program, there are many activities like other programs. To me, most attractive is the total quality management in the hospitals and the PCSB training. They have trained 19 private CSBs in Naushingdi, and I am evaluating this program. I think this is not a bad program. You know, this is they are becoming modified TBS, and their performance is good in terms of number of deliveries and referrals. This is Mamoni project. Mamoni project, initially it was started in Sylhet district. Now it has covered because districts. It has also very important interventions, particularly community and facility-based interventions. Important among them is the management of sick newborn care. Also, they are trying other innovative approaches like misoprostol. Then for eclampsia, they are giving trial with magnesium sulfate, community-based magnesium sulfate. Also, they have other community level interventions like demand generation, community action group, community training, community fund for referrals, training of volunteers, PCS based. They have also started training PCS based and surveillance of pregnancies for better care. Other, you know, for long Bangladesh is very famous for NGOs. Many NGOs are working in this country for maternal and neonatal health. Important among them is the GP intervention in Shabbat, Lamb Hospital, Parvatipur, Moscow Women's CS program, Shahjadpur Integrated Intervention Project, Marriage Plus Bangladesh, Second Urban and Primary Health Care Project, Mayatashi Project, Ismail and Son Franchise Program, RTRS, FTB, IPAS, RSS. For many of these NGOs, the primary focus is not maternal health, but they have maternal health components in their activity. Also today I learned that Chittagong Trust, what is the name of the project? Kumudini, Adin, the Kadam Hospital. There are a lot many. You know, there is a hospital in Mymensingh, Haluakar. I have forgotten the name. There is on Oxens Bazar, there is on Kaptai. They are contributing in maternal health. Yes. This is all about the interventions. Now we can look into the performances, the indicator status. If you look at the skill attendance, the BDS is 1993. During that time, it was 4.2%. Now it is more than 26%. Caesarean section, you see, during first two surveys there was no information about caesarean section. Now from 1999 we have information. It is now the population-based caesarean section rate is more than 12%. But of this caesarean section, majority took place in private sector facilities. And if you go look at the private sector facility data, then of all deliveries in private sector facilities, 80% are by caesarean. This is inequity in access to delivery care. Over period of time, there is improvement, but improvement is mostly among the upper two quintile population. This is the inequity in caesarean section. You see, caesarean section rate among richest quintile mother is 32%. John was telling it is about the rate is similar to USA. And in ICD rate, the rate, the caesarean section rate is more than 70%. This is, there is progress, but there is regional variation. The Sylhet district, it is always behind, and Khulna district always it is doing best, I should say. But in this slide, you saw over period of time there is improvement, but the skilled attendance is increasing, but these deliveries are taking place mostly in private sector facilities. If you look at the data, it has increased from 2.7% to 11.3%. And in the government sector, it has increased from 5.8 to 10% from BMMS 2001 to 10. Despite all these things, maternal mortality is decreasing. Now it is about 194. But our target is 143. We hope that we can reach the MDG 5 target. Summary findings: multiple strategies are in operation, multiple parties are involved. Bilateral projects in MSCS have been started, violating the SWAP principle. Same interventions by different parties. If I compare these four programs, SLPP, Mamoni, MSCS, MNHI, majority of the activities are, they are doing CS, community support group, community action group, but what is the difference? I do not know. Also, this CSBA training, every program has this private CSBA training. And the next point is comprehensive emergency obstetric care in rural areas remain challenging. This is real. The problem is there. We are not addressing this. There is inequities and regional variation is there. Private sector is increasingly contributing, but nobody is taking care. There is no coordination or supervision. Nobody is looking after the private sector. And last point is that 50% skill attendance by 2015 may be impossible, but target for MDG 5 may be achieved. My last slide is discussion points. Midwives or CSPs, we are doing both, but the priority should be what? Community or facility? If community, then private CSP or public CSP. This is a policy issue. We need to decide, People are coming with different ideas, they are starting doing this, but the government should have a clear direction what they like to do. Then CMUC facilities at Ujalas, this is really challenging. A lot many efforts have been put, but there is no improvement. Still, same proportion of facilities they are not providing any services, mostly due to anesthetics. Demand side voucher program, the evaluation says that there is improvement in access, but there are some certain problems. We should look into it. And then defining and implementing a minimum package of MNCs in the community. Different parties are doing different things. Many things are common. But my question is, what should be the minimum package? The second last point is the scarcity of anesthetists and training of nurses on anesthesia, whether this can work off or not. And last point, but not least, previously, regularly there are this type of meetings in the PGHs in the name of MNCS or MNH forum, but these meetings are not taking place. We like to restart these regular meetings. Thank you.
Postnatal, including the family services. Recently, I have had an experience of the Turkey. They have a very extensive maternal care, and the midwives are doing tremendous jobs in this respect. And also, I have an opportunity to join the Durban, the 29th Triennial Congress of the Midwives. So I've seen that what a wonderful job they're doing with proper capacity development. So we are hoping that that will be replicated in the Bangladesh. International Midwife Association, they are providing the technical assistance, and they visited twice in Bangladesh and consulted the high official of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. I was present over there, and they are taking it very seriously because our Prime Minister also committed to develop 3,000 midwives within 2015. Another issue that strongly came to us, whether we'll continue the transformation of the existing nurse to midwife nurse, undergoing the 6 months course, because we cannot wait for 2015. So what other options remain in our hand, we'll have to explore those available options. DSF, as Dr. Iqbal mentioned very nicely, the disbursement of the fund is a crucial problem. My program manager, Dr. Hawk, is over here. What a problem we are facing for the disbursement of the DSF voucher fund. It is unexpressible. Actually, this is the RPA fund, reimbursable projected fund. So you'll have to take advance from the centrally. You cannot delegate the fund to the local level, because if you are going to put the RPA fund to the district level or the level, you need third level of code. So previously, in the last ADB meeting, I pointed out very seriously with our Honorable the Secretary, and he took it very seriously and advised the Ministry official to have a dialogue with the Ministry of Finance, how they can figure out to give the third level code so that we can give the allotment to the particular Upajala or the district that doing the DSM, unless it's very difficult. And I said very clearly, today's number is the 53, but if are going to expand 20 center per year, so I'll have to have 10 trucks to accommodate the vouchers for reconcile in the AG. So that will be a tremendous tax. So it's not possible for him. So he pointed it very correctly. So we'll have to figure out the disbursement process for the dimension of the DSF program. Some of the international organizations and also the NGO, they are doing excellent job for contributing the improvement of the maternal care. I can name Engender Health for the excellent, for the intervention of the misoprostol, the active management of hard stress labor, and also the use of Maxal, community use. Also here the JICA, the SMPP, they are doing some excellent job. The other NGO also, they're contributing a lot. But Iqbal pointed out very correctly, what will be the stewardship role of the government? What will be the coordination mechanism? So this thing will have to address in the policy dialogues. So if you summarize the challenges for the discussion, we can address those issues like, because every birth is equally important. We'll have to acknowledge that one. Home-based or hospital-based. If hospital-based, what will be the options? If it is home-based, then what other options remain in hand, and we'll have to continue that one. CSBA versus midwives. Will it needed to continue the CSBA for the time period and switch over the midwives? And if it is, what will be the time span, what will be the modalities? So we'll have to consider. What about the private sector? We cannot ignore the private sector. They're coming as a big giant. You know, the bed capacity of the government hospital is 45,000 like. but the private sector becomes very giant, more than 70,000. I'm not sure, but more than 60,000 are like that. Next, how the referral linkage can be strengthened. That is one of the issues later, right from the community clinic up to the tertiary level hospital. Because what is the operational definition of the structured referral system? Because a client is reporting at the lowest level of the tiers of the the hospital care, so we must provide the opportunity to take the highest level of care. So this is one of the area to address, and how you can operationalize all the health complex in respect of the resources, especially the human resources. That is one of the important. How can you produce a lot of anesthetists? That is one of the big challenges now we are facing. Another, pay for performance. Recently, I reviewed some of the documents. Everywhere they're practicing for improvement of the maternal health, especially for the pay for performance. So what will be the adaptation model in respect to the Bangladesh? Because in the NHS system, if you go for the pay for performance, they have 265 indicators. So you cannot incorporate 265 indicators. So definitely you are going to figure out what will be the minimum indicators for appraisal and other things. And what will be the special intervention of the urban slums and the hill tracts? That is also a very important point to address. And lastly, I would like to mention one of the area, what will be the MIS, that's the reporting system. So what are the challenges remain for collecting the information? So that is one of the big challenges ahead. So I think the learned participant, I see the valuable faces, the learned participant from the different organizations. So I'm sure about that they can contribute very significantly. And before giving thanks to all, I would like to say again, on behalf of the ICDRB, that thank you very much for joining this policy dialogue. So now, and lastly, again, I would like to give thanks Dr. Iqbal and the colleagues, and especially to Laura, for arranging such important and timely policy dialogue for feeding the next updating of the maternal strategy, which is ahead. So now the floor is open. Thank you very much.
I'm Dr. Mahbooba from WHO. So I would like to talk regarding midwives. Right? It is an important issue now, and WHO is working with Bangladesh Nursing Council for development of midwives. So you all know that there are two types of midwives, 6-month courses for existing nurses, and then after that they will be midwife and they will be posted in the Upajala Health Center. Already 180 midwives has developed and they are posted in the Upajala. And for 3-year courses, the curriculum has developed, and on the 22nd of this month, the TOT will be started, and then the course will be started soon. So I think the Bangladesh Nursing Council is working with the midwife and CSPA. And is there any person from Bangladesh Nursing Council? It will be good if any person any person from Bangladesh Nursing Council.
I'm not sure who's from Nursing
It is important to include a person from Bangladesh Nursing Council because they are midwives.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, or the deputy can come, and also from TNS. It is important. So another question is, we all know that the EMOC is not possible in the Kojala for anesthetist problem. And there is a question whether the training for nurses of anesthesia is possible or not. So the anesthetist, one of the anesthetists can come from the society to decide whether nurses can be given training for anesthesia or not. Because in 2002, there is a CBT, competency-based training, international training held at Dhaka, and there are person from Bhutan and Nepal, and most probably their person in Bhutan, they allowed the nurses to do anesthesia, to remote area. But for our country, there was a proposal to make anesthetists from the nurses but the organization of anesthetists, they don't allow them. So it is important to have a person from anesthesia organization to be here, so we can have their observation regarding this. This is all. And another thing, just now we all know that we are not ready for institutional delivery. So for our side, we think that midwives and CSB training can go side by side, and after one time, the midwives will take the position for CSB and institutional delivery will be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Musabai, for giving the opportunity, and thank you, ICTDRB, for organizing this policy dialogue. But if it is the case that it is actually the part of the development of the maternal health strategy, then maybe it should be expanded, because already at the ministry level, they have the meeting, and several working group has already been formed. So some progress is already there. So different working groups has been formed, yes. But we need to actually revitalize those working group as well. So I have two concerns. Like in the presentation, we have to be very clear about what actually we meant by the skilled birth attendant. Like one red color is a policy shift from skilled attendance to health facility delivery. So a skilled birth attendant, we have a very clear definition. So skilled birth attendant, all are skilled birth attendant. Maybe it is a typo, that is the women, the community skilled birth attendant. So CSBA and skilled birth attendant is totally different. Skilled birth attendant is a big range. That includes CSBA, that includes midwifery, doctors, everybody. So I think it would be CSBA. So one thing I would like to actually emphasize here, that in Bangladesh we have lots of intervention and initiative from different stakeholders. But we have to be very strong about one thing, that is the standardization of the training. Because when we provide 5 days orientation, we also call them the skilled birth attendant or midwife. And also it is ICM, International Confederation and Midwife, they have a very specific list of competencies that is required by the midwife and very specific duration of training. So we have to be very clear about that. Otherwise we will not be able to achieve the target. Because if we can achieve the task, but there should be some standard that what level of competency will be there for each category of staff. So that should be highlighted in the strategy, the standardization. It is not only for the skilled birth attendant but also for the anesthesia. That's why what Dr. Mose has already mentioned, and there will be a regional consultation meeting of organized by the SAFO, South Asia Federation of Gynae and Obstetric Association, and UNFPA, and all the association of the gynae and anesthetists, they will participate from South Asia region. And the discussion will be that how we can actually have more people who can provide the MO services as well as the anesthesia services. So from Bangladesh, the ministry, DG Health personnel and DGFP, and also the representative from OGSP and Anesthesia Society will participate, and hope we will have something very strong suggestion from that meeting in the end of this April. So that is one issue. Another is that if we actually analyze the data, we will find that, especially in the mixed data, we found that there are some pockets. Bangladesh is such a country that we don't have the problem everywhere the same. Problem is not the same, and we don't need actually the same strategy for all places. Yes. So when I analyzed the data, I found that already 12 Upazila already achieved the skilled birth attendant target of 50%. So, and many of the Upazila are still below 5%, not even at the national average. So geographical targeting for the maternal health as well as for the prime planning is very important. It is not that we have to actually do the same strategy for everywhere. So we are in the process of to highlight that some pocket area that has to be reached and highlighted, and that has to be covered by the public sector or the NGO sector. So that is my main concern. and other issues that already very nicely Dr. Musa has explained, which is very relevant and very much evidence-based, because now our Bible is the Bangladesh Maternal Mortality Survey, and that has given a very clear picture what should be the strategy, whether it will be the community, facility, what type of services, because we know that if we want to actually reduce the maternal mortality, we need the facility-based services, because complications has to be managed at the facility, that is not available at the community level. But if we have a different category of people and with a very good referral linkages, then we could achieve that. And also it has been mentioned in the maternal mortality survey that to achieve the skilled birth attendant target of MDG, we also have to work at the facility level, because most of the skilled birth attendant currently is at the facility level. So many of the strategies are there, so I just highlighted some of this.
Most of the things have been said already, just a couple of things. I think the government has missed an opportunity while designing the HPNSDP. It was the time when an impact model needed to be decided. The impact model needed to be designed. As I quote Hasinapa said that BMMS should be our Bible. I mean, she meant that the findings of BMMS already gave us some clear-cut direction where we should go. I think if BMMS is our Bible, then we all are very bad Christians and we'll be going to the hell, definitely, because we haven't reflected the BMMS findings in the HPNSDP. That's a kind of frustration from my side, because many a times we have discussed that BMMS maps, the district maps which are published already, it shows that a differential program is needed. And exactly it was very well timed with the formulation of the HPNSDP. But I don't see in the government program HPNSDP or any of the operational plans that there is a reflection that the high mortality districts are given higher priority. So that, and every time we raise this issue with our government policymakers and senior managers, there is an agreement, there is a nod, there is an agreement in principle, but in reality we don't see it. Even if the secretary, I asked in a talk show, in a live talk show, what is your take on it? He agreed in principle, yes, we have to do differential programming, but sending back to the 20 years, 40 years way of universal programming. So I think since Musa is here and having dynamic program managers, you need to really call the spade a spade. If we mean data, and tomorrow many of you will be attending the BDHS dissemination, you will see the same picture, the differential nature. In terms of family planning, already Khulna, Rajshahi and Khulna and Rajshahi has already gone beyond below the replacement level fertility. So why should I put money in Khulna and Rajshahi, not investing in Sylhet and Chittagong? So I understand there is a political side of it, but we are not political people. We are technical people, and it is our responsibility to guide the entire policy framework into the direction which is technically sound. So my strongest urge to the government is to come up with a differential programming. The data is there. We know where mothers are dying. So we should go there. We should invest more in there. We should have a differential programming there. Maybe the CBD model of house-to-house delivery is not needed in Khulna and Rajshahi, but very much needed in Sylhet and Chittagong. So that's one point. The second thing is that what I was referring to impact model. Now if you look at the PMP of the HPNSDP, there are 18 indicators identified, yes. And in many cases, we see that the indicator target for 2016 has been set to 50%. 50% skilled birth attendant. 1:4, lower than 1:4 ratio of lowest quintile delivery in the facility. These are targets set. But if you really mean it, if we want to achieve that target, where is the pathway? Do we know how many? We know that 7,000 mothers are dying. And we also know that 30% of them are dying for hemorrhage. 22% are dying for eclampsia. Now there are specific numbers we need to handle, and we know where the numbers are. So if we have all this information and we are not doing this simple mathematics, then no point in discussing all this. So I think that simple mathematics needs to be done. If we can reduce 20% death in Sylhet and Chittagong, that will give us the largest leverage in terms of achieving the MDG 4 target or whatever we are talking about. The last point, last 2 points. I mean, one thing is that I need to see more government initiative. Just Musa bhai, as a not take it as a criticism, but take it as our expectation towards you. Why? It's kind of a devil's advocate. Why this meeting has not been called by government of Bangladesh? Never I have seen that maternal health strategy revision has been initiated by the government. No, there are files lying in the ministry for 6 to 7 years just to formulate committees which will revise the maternal health. That's the truth. And there is a file in DG Health which has been lying for last 6 to 7 months. We have formulated the committee 7 months back. We have formulated the committee 5 years back, and that file has not been into action for last 5 years. So, I mean, who will take that responsibility? And the mothers dying in these last 5 years or last 7 months, who will be responsible for it? So that's a reality, Musa bhai. We need to be very proactive, and because we know what to do. We know misoprostol works. Now, if we have incorporated misoprostol in the program. Now, if we don't take misoprostol on the ground, that's a crime. That's an offense. We cannot do that to our mothers. So let's think that very practically. Last point, the prototype issue. I mean, definitely there need to be a definition of a minimum package. Yes, that's for our category. But we know the minimum package. The minimum package issue is a 20 years old issue. We know what to do. Please, now there should be strategization. I mean, I like that different program strategies have been, best practices have been highlighted, and what Pierre said, I go with you. Definitely these best practices need to be encouraged, and no matter whether, and I take it positively that between these 4, 5, 6 programs there are similarities. That is, they have understood the need rightly. That's why there are similarities. Now please, let's encourage those innovations, and also where we have invested. Musa bhai, that's my last point. I mean, one of the tendency, if you look at the history of Bangladesh maternal health, we have done blunders, have learned. From 78, we have started the TBA program. 60,000 TBAs have been trained, and then in 1996, we did a survey, understood 16.7% deliveries are being attended by the trained TBAs, no mortality reduction, and we abandoned that program. In 2003, we took the CSBA program. Now, we have seen less than 1% deliveries are being attended by CSBAs. Now we are saying no CSBA, go for midwives. So be careful. Are we investing right, or after 10 years again we'll say no, midwife doesn't work, we'll have to come up with something. Family planning has shown a has established union level health and family welfare centers. There are buildings, there are infrastructures, there are manpower. We have already invested in there. Now instead of consolidating that investment, we are thinking of new things. Again, I'm going back, will be political commitments, but I see now that people are saying that, okay, our community clinics will have deliveries, and that will increase our facility-based delivery. To me, that's a very mature comment. That's a very mature strategy, where we haven't been able, in the last 30 years, to increase facility-based delivery using the union-level facilities, which are really ready for delivery, which are 2-story buildings, which have made a lot of investment. So why we are planning to expand something which we haven't tested? So please consolidate where we have invested and then move on to new strategies. Thank you.
Thank you very much.